battleship foundered.
Hey team, it's Ripper here. Hope you guys are doing awesome today. Finally got the Moskva review for you coming up here shortly. But before we begin, thank you guys. As always, we made it to our goal of 500 subscribers. On our way, next goal, 600. If you guys like what we're doing here, love to support the channel, hit that like, subscribe, bell button below. And tell me what you think, what you like, you dislike, having a good time sailing ships, shooting ships, and having a blast learning something at the same time. So, what we're going to talk about today is the Moskva, which is the Tier 10 Soviet cruiser that was back in the day the tier, I guess you could say, tech tree line. Now it is in the armory for coal, as what they're doing with a lot of these ships nowadays. The ones that were kind of the old school, oldies but goldies, were in the tech tree line, are now in the armory. And bottom line, I could say that back in the day, the Moskva was one of the things I feared. You know, it was one of the strongest, to me, cruisers out there that would literally just nose in, tank, and just start firing AP shells at you with ungodlike accuracy. And I think now that I got it finally, with coal saved up and everything, because I didn't need it for the Force Sherman, I was like, well, let's spend it on something, and I elected to get a Moskva. Now, to me, the Moskva is kind of like the older brother of the Petro, because the Petro is what replaced it. I still think the Petro does a better job at tanking. It's so if you guys have ever played a Petro, you can see, or Petropavlovsk, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Tier Tech Chen Tree, Soviet Tier 10 cruiser now. That one is really tough to kill. And I feel like the Moskva was the kind of role model of the Petro, but now I feel like the Petro does a better job. But even then, the Moskva still does what it's supposed to do. It's the oldies but goldies. And the biggest thing I think that is that has it going for it is the guns. The guns are kind of like just one level below Stalingrad in my mind after watching a lot of videos and research. The guns on this thing, if I had to review about them, are pretty much 220. If you don't know, it's 220 millimeters guns that have great HE, 37 millimeter pin on the HE. The APs are godlike, accuracy. The Sigma for this whole cruiser is about 2.05, which is really good. It means dispersion is like more accurate. Dispersion 167 millimeters. I mean, essentially, you're firing laser railgun shells, as you can see right there. Wherever I'm aiming at, I'm hitting. I mean, it is pretty awesome. Especially to cruisers. I mean, these things do deadly things to cruisers, but you can see I'm taking on a Prussian, which is the new Tier 10 GK, if you want to call it, Tier 10 German battleship. And, dude, I'm hitting the thing, like, pretty spot on. I put the thing on the thing, and it hits. Even with, like, this Khabarov scare, I'm just aiming, and I'm nailing them. Like, I'm 2,400 damage. That's not something to shy about, For me to hit a destroyer at 11.8 away with kind of like railgun-like accuracy is what I like about the Moskva. The Petro's kind of, and you think the dispersion got nerfed on the Petro for some reason. The dispersion seems really bad. Moskva and the Stalingrad seem to be the ones that are saving their power of accuracy, if you will. And I think it's still there. Getting fires on these, especially fire chance is really, really awesome. Let me double check here. Fire chance on the HE shells is about 17%. So pretty phenomenal at shooting destroyers as well as cruisers and especially battleships. The speed on the Moskva is really awesome. I mean, if you want to watch, if you're going to see the video in a minute here, like me speeding up, stop, starting, it goes 35 knots base roughly, I believe, and if you put on a speed flag, maybe 37, it's still pretty quick. And in the stop-start function of this cruiser is amazing. I mean, I think that's why it does so well at what I'm doing right here, where I literally find an island, I park up next to it, shield one of my flanks, and literally guard myself from, blap citadels from the sides, cover my flanks, and just nose in and start aiming at targets and just picking them off one by one. And I think that's the bread and butter of what that cruiser line for this tech tree is supposed to be, and it does a pretty good job of it, and I can see why people do this. I used to hate, like, oh my gosh, here's a Moskva or Stalingrad nosed in. They're just sitting there, and I'm like, well, let's burn them to death. And essentially, that's what it does. I mean, it really has a weak citadel on the side, 150-something millimeters. No cruiser can take a full broadside from a battleship. So every cruiser has to nose in at some point and just protect its side and really and watch its flank. But what it really does well is this, bringing a lot of guns with a supporting fire, and especially with the radar, hydro, and the ability to help battleships and cruisers, and even DDs spot and kill other DDs, kill other cruisers and battleships and so forth. It's pretty much the gun platform that you've always wanted. It is kind of like the fullback where it just plops up, provides a shield of fire, and holds a flank, which is what I'm doing here. And especially if you guys don't know, this new mode, this Blimp Derby, is awesome, by the way. I play this only now. It just promotes brawling more. Teammates actually are, look, we're all actually close together for once. Oh my gosh. We actually are close together rather than, hey, someone's at A1, someone's at J10. I mean, good God. Finally, somebody's forced a way for us all to stick together as a team. As you can see right here, we're all going to take on the Shimakaze right in front of us. Now, look at that. Look at the accuracy on this. I'm going to literally get the front 2 nose guns, fire a full salvo, boom, boom, boom. Nice, getting some, good pen. Oh, only 1 pen on that one. But, I mean, just look at you just see the concentration group of shells right there. Look at that. If they do hit, I mean, it is devastating. I mean, look at that right there. Bam, 5 shell hits. It's pretty awesome, super accurate. I love them. I love the style of these cruisers that get super accurate guns, especially with 2.06 Sigma. That's anything with 2 and above, it's awesome in my mind. That's why I'm debating if Stalingrad or Burgonia are the top 2 next ships I'm getting here. I'm debating with Stalingrad, Burgonia. Everybody says get the Burgonia. But anyways, I digress. What else do I like about the Moskva? The radar. The radar is obviously the Soviet radar of 12 kilometers, that little gimmick right there. But you can build this thing out to 40 seconds long, I believe, if I get the, the extra on the commander perks. You can get the armory upgrade of the radar. You can get this thing up to about 40 seconds, which is pretty long for a radar. The concealment is pretty large, actually, for a cruiser, and it's a bigger cruiser. The concealment is about 14. So you're not sneaking in like other Minotaur, Colbert, like light cruisers get around like 11 to 12. So you're not getting that, I mean, especially because the radar is 12. So they don't want you to stealth radar so much. Now, I think the only guy that gets away with that stealth radar, I believe, is the Petro. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think it's concealment. It's just right outside the radar range, which is pretty wonky in my opinion. But anyways, what else do I like about it? The APs are awesome. As I told you, the start and stop function, you can see I'm stopping. I mean, it accelerates really well. It holds speed really well. Again, that nose of this thing is about 50 millimeter icebreaker, but the top portion of the nose is 25. So it does get blapped by, guns that are larger, like I believe 15 or 16. Most battleships can penetrate the top portion of the nose, so bow in. So you got to aim really accurately, but the rest below the nose is about 50 millimeter plating and does a good job at deflecting majority of the shells that are fired at you. As you can see, I'm tanking damage pretty well. Look at that. See, I'm taking shots from 3 different ships, left, middle, and right side of the fire, and this thing is taking it like a champ. I mean, that's the one thing this thing is. It's a fullback. It's literally designed to push in, and look at this. Yoshino, he ain't got no nose armor. I'm going to fire AP right at him, and boom, he's out. RIP, Yoshino back to 40, and they're not afraid of a GK as well. We'll fire a full broadside GK, and dang, look at that, 4,600 damage with AP shells right there, and it does a good job firing. Fire rate on this thing is pretty good if you build it for, I didn't build it for range. The range I think is decent enough, shooting a 19.4 kilometer range. Don't need to worry about range. And you can see I built it for reload, main battery, and let's see here. It's doing a great job of it here. Yep, 8-second reload too. That's quick for a big cruiser like this. Hitting this Salem right here, and let's see if we can nail a nice citadel. And we get a lot of overpens. This is overpen city, by the way. The guns are just going so fast. Man, you just go right through them. I mean, you literally got to aim right at the waterline in order to get them. Hopefully we get this last shot right here, and bam! Finally, 2 citadels. He had to angle a little bit. I let the thing arm, the shell's arm on his juicy broadside. And we got that second kill of the day. Hayate is showing too much of his body right there, and we're going to get 1 shell off, and look at that. 1 shell gets 1,000 damage off of him, and he's going to be taken down as well. Did I tell you how much I like this derby? It provides so much close-in brawling and just firefights all over the place. I really like it. Again, that's my review of the Moskva. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. For a coal ship, I do. I think it's better than the Napoli or any of those other ships. I think it does a really good job for what it's supposed to do. It's the oldie but goldie, old school brawling kind of cruiser. So let me know what you think, guys, below the comments below. Dislike, like. Hope you like the video, some of the tactics provided, what we did with it, what we can do. If we can do better, let us know. Moskva #1 right there. Awesome. Again, appreciate it. We're on our 600 subscribers on the way, and we appreciate all the support. Looking for more support. Again, we'll talk to you guys soon, and you guys stay safe out there. Cheers.